Okay, I've got my little knit dishcloth here. I have completed. Let's check the measurements. So I got my tape measure here, and it measures about 5.5 inches wide, and then it's about 5.5 inches long. So I am now ready to bind off. So let's go ahead and do that. Get my stitches down on my needle here. And you are going to knit your first stitch just like you have been doing. Wrap the yarn, knit that stitch, and then you're going to knit the second stitch. And then to bind off one stitch, you are going to go to the first stitch, take your left needle and insert it into that stitch, and you're going to lift it over the first stitch and off. And that is one bound off stitch. And then you just keep going. We're going to knit another stitch, go to the back, lift that stitch over and off. Knit a stitch, go to the back stitch, lift it over and off. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way across the row. This is your most basic bind off. And just like I said with cast on stitches, there are all kinds of different ways that you can bind off. But this is just the most basic, and for a washcloth, it's definitely going to get the job done. So we're going to come and get all of these stitches bound off, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to deal with the very last stitch. Okay, I'm down to my last few stitches here. Just going to keep binding them off. One more. Lift that one over. Okay, now you have this one loop that is left. I like to kind of stretch it out a little bit so I don't worry about it running away from me. And then we are going to take our little pair of snips and we're going to cut that end and pull it right through the loop. And we have finished our little practice piece. And then the last thing that we have to do on this little washcloth is weave in these ends. I forgot to grab my tapestry needle, so let me go grab it and I'm going to show you what to do with that. Okay, I'm back and I have my tapestry needle. I have gotten this one here. It's got a decent size eye. We are going to go ahead and thread that onto the needle. Throw it on the needle, thread it on the needle. Either way. All right, and then we're going to go. Doesn't really matter. I don't know why I flipped it over, but I'm now designating this as the wrong side of my washcloth. And what we're going to do is kind of sew this in, and I've got a little looseness going on here. So I'm going to take, I don't know if you can see how it's a little loose and sloppy. So I'm going to take the opportunity to kind of tighten this up just a little bit, like that. Not too much, but there, that kind of neatens that up. And now what I want to do is I'm going to follow my yarn. So I'm going to actually turn it this way. It might be a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to start. You can see I have a yarn that goes down. It's a little bit trickier in the garter stitch. And I'm just going to thread this through two of the loops here and pull that down and in. And then I'm going to thread it up through this one. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, this is just a dishcloth. And I'm just going to thread it back and forth. Like so. for, I don't know, 4 or 5 stitches. And the last time I go through, I'm actually gonna split the threads just a little bit. There we go. See how I've gotten just a couple of threads? We're gonna split that, pull it through there. And then I like to circle back and do it one more time in the exact same spot. It probably doesn't really matter, but I just feel like it adds just a little bit extra security. So there we go. Kind of pull that off, and then we are going to trim this nice and close, not like right on top of it, but fairly short, like that. I don't know if you can see that there. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side of our dishcloth. Thread the needle here. Oh, come on. Probably could have grabbed a needle with a slightly bigger eye. There we go. We got it. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. I kind of usually try to go up a couple of rows so it's like not right on the bottom edge. And so we're just going to come up through and back down. And there. I'll do one more actually. I also kind of like to have my finish end, or the end when I'm ready to cut it off, angling up towards the work. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it makes a difference, but we're gonna split those stitches. My end is just a little tight here. And that was the second time through. And we're gonna trim it. Oops, the whole thing. There we go. And there we go. We have a finished little dishcloth, washcloth. It's not super big, but that's okay. It's a good little scrubby size. And again, it was a practice piece. As a reminder, had cast on 24 stitches. If you want something a little bigger, you could go 26, 28, 30. You can go odd numbers too. I don't know why I'm going up by 2s, but pick whatever number of stitches that you feel like is going to work for you and go from there.